the way I see the world is always about what's next, and that's related itself into trends, and I just do it so naturally. The need states create the trends, and then the trends become what businesses need to follow. Connectivity and artificial intelligence are going to become the new electricity. The 3 steps are: expose yourself to gain clarity in order to have the courage to become forever profitable. Understanding the I behind the I in order to create a life that you magnetize and stop chasing. Live life as if everything is rigged in your favor.
Hi everyone, welcome back to The Exceptional. I told you I'm going to get him. Best-selling author, John Sanei. What is your moonshot? International speaker. John, welcome to our show, and thanks for your time.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a great pleasure. John, they call you a trend specialist. Why are you so obsessed about trends?
From a very young age, I was inherently an early adopter. I was always looking at the next thing or the next brand, and it was just infused into my perspective. And I remember that from a very young age, I saw a pair of Reeboks, and I just somehow thought that these shoes are going to be great. And I convinced my mom to buy me a pair, and they ended up being Reebok. I mean, that was the first time I'd seen them. And my friends have always kind of like joked around with me. Every time they see me, they say, well, John, what's the next thing? What's the new thing? And that's just somehow the way I see the world is always about what's next. And that's related itself into trends. And I just do it so naturally. It's actually my highest excitement to be looking for what the next trends are.
Cool. Are there some industries or some companies that are more dictated about trends, or trends impacting them more than other companies or industries, or is it universal?
Well, I think the trends that I really focus on are what consumers are wanting. And the trends are always based around the need states and expectations of consumers. And you get consumers across the world in mature awareness markets, which are like San Francisco, San Diego, Berlin, Amsterdam, Cape Town. These consumers are underpinned by something called guilt-free consumption. And so the need states and their expectations around this is very clearly based on the trends that are affecting these cities. For example, every city I mentioned, ride bicycles to work, wear normcore fashion, veganomics is growing in these markets. So the need states create the trends, and then the trends become what businesses need to follow. So what my real passion is understanding those consumer need states so well, and then relating them off into trends, and all those need states and trends affect every industry in that sector. So banking in a mature awareness market, a emerging awareness market, and a less affluent awareness market is banking, but the way it needs to be brought across, the trends that are affecting that sector are different based on the consumer need states.
And I think it's important, it's all about the consumer. To make sure that whatever product or service or investment that you offer them, that you really speak to them and not just at them, and really give them what they want and satisfying their needs.
You're absolutely right. And what I think stops people from doing that is something I call capability advantage. Is that we have maybe gone to university for 7 years, been running a business for 20 years, and we are so focused on our capability and not on the consumer. And so we only do things that are within our capability. And this is exactly the opposite of what we should be doing, is how do we find solutions for those consumers based on us crowdsourcing funding, minds, services, to be able to bring a service to a consumer that is not based on our capability, but actually on the consumer.
Yeah, that's true. You speak about what's in your moonshot, about future-proof yourself and your business in the age of exponential disruption. What is the next exponential disruption that businesses and entrepreneurs need to watch out for and future-proof them against?
I mean, it's a big question, but I think that if you just think about how electricity affected the world back in the turn of the 19th century, I think that connectivity and artificial intelligence are going to become the new electricity. And what I mean by that is that we have the companies with the deepest pockets, like a Facebook, like a Google, like a Amazon, like a Tesla, like a Virgin. All these companies are looking at blanketing the earth with satellites, drones, and balloons to give everybody free, fast Wi-Fi. What does your world, what does your business, what is your online business, what is your ability to impact billions of people change when you realize that by the time 2022 to 2024 comes around, 8 billion people will be connected to free, fast Wi-Fi. That in itself, I think, is going to be a massive shift for many businesses. And then on top of that, what arrives straight away on top of that is artificial intelligence replacing a lot of the left brain businesses and careers. Everything that is about processing, language, logistics, all the left brain stuff that we are trained so much for in universities will be replaced by artificial intelligence. That's the next wave that I think is really going to start impacting how we go about training ourselves, as well as finding work and becoming service providers to a business or a sector or a world that's got free, fast Wi-Fi and artificial intelligence doing a lot of the work that we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's true. As you said, it's all about the communication, the movement of people, transportation, and I think the internet and so many people going online is a huge opportunity for everyone. But if you don't take it, you're going to fall behind.
Well, I think that's the thing, is that I speak a lot about accretion, this idea that we need to, as human beings, slowly but surely retrain ourselves. I think what happens is that we see this vast future and we get scared of it, and we then ignore it and we like frightened of it. But I think the real trick is to expose yourself to the future on a daily manner. Like every day, watch a 10-minute video, a 20-minute podcast, listen to a podcast, read something. And slowly but surely what starts happening is that your language, your perspective, and your focus starts shifting towards what actually is coming. So there's no excuse for not preparing. What we need to be doing is adopting agility as a muscle that is going to be the most important muscle moving into the future.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You write in your book, one of the chapters is forever profitable. It's an interesting concept. What's the three things that businesses have to do to make them forever profitable?
Yeah, I think the process of being forever profitable is about how do you change your business to be future-proofed, future-ready, and future-focused. And I think there's three things that you require. One is courage. It takes a lot of courage to want to shift your business model. In order to have courage, you need clarity. And in order to gain clarity, you need exposure. And so the three steps are: expose yourself to gain clarity in order to have the courage to become forever profitable. The process and methodology is all about categorization and contextualization of trends that give you the ability to understand consumers' changing behaviors in different markets around the world. So it's a very in-depth methodology that's been used by major organizations around the world, which I'm so proud of. But inherently, what I'm always trying to do to all leaders, to all Exco members, is how do you build the courage, clarity, and exposure to the future so you can make decisions that are somewhat uncomfortable.
I know that you're working on a new project, a new book coming out. I think the launch date is now somewhere in June. Magnetiize. And what's interesting for me is the double I in the subject, or in the heading of the book. Yeah. Why the double I?
Yeah, so I think that as we're evolving into the future, we have this new ability to change language. And I think that people who are very focused on language hate it, that there are new words being developed all the time. But for me, I feel that you need to be able to create a word that you own, a language that you own, like I own Trenovate, which is categorization and contextualization of trends to innovate with purpose. Forever profitable is a term that I own now. And the next one is Magnetiize, which is memorable in its first idea, is that when you see it on the bookshelf, the two eyes, you make your brain go, hang on a second, that's not spelt right. How do they do that? So it becomes memorable. But the most important reason is that the book is about understanding the I behind the I in order to create a life that you magnetize and stop chasing. I think a lot of the times we haven't done the emotional work as human beings. We haven't dealt with our shadows. We haven't dealt with our mommy and daddy issues. And so what we do is we find ourselves in a constant chase, a race that none of us know when it started. We don't know when it's ending, and we don't know what the prize is. We're just running, just this constant chase. And so what my process there in the book is to understand that we can stop the chase, understand the future, and take charge of it. And the way we do that, it starts off with understanding the I behind the I. And that's a lot of emotional work that we need to be doing in order to become purpose-led rather than profit-led.
I think it's this whole thing of, and I can remember my own life, just chasing these goals and goals and goals. And one day I just woke up and I said, listen, I'm missing the point here. I'm sacrificing my family time. I'm sacrificing my health. You just need to realign. So I'm so much looking forward to for Magnetiize coming out. Will be on my wish list to get as soon as it's on the shelf. So when is the launch date?
So we have been very lucky to be accepted into something Exclusive Books has called Home Brew, which is, I think, 20 or so South African authors that are going to be featured in the front of every Exclusive Book store. And my book is going to be gold leafed, so it's very bright and gold. And it's going to be at the front of the store at all the Exclusive Books for the whole of June. So first week in June, it should be on the stores. Take a lot. And we have pre-orders on my website right now, which we'll sign and personalize and send over to whoever pre-orders.
100%. Great. John, I want to shift a bit and want to ask you, what is your definition of success? You've spoken on some of the world's greatest stages, best-selling author. What is success for you? Is that success or is something else?
Success is being able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you want to do it. For me, and it's not always around money. It's that you can create realities that are based on having access to many things without always thinking that money is stopping us. And so for me, it's how often can I do what my heart desires? How often can I afford it? And how often do I have the health that allows me to do it? And for me, that's success. Being on stages, on the world's top stages, is absolutely a success for me, something that I've been working towards. Having a bestseller book is a dream come true for me. Again, that's success, but also being fit and healthy is success. Being able to go skiing and go to Machu Picchu and go to Everest. And these are all layers of success. And if you take all of them, they all fit under the banner of whatever I want to do, when I want to do it, and how I want to do it. That's success.
Yeah, I always add something else, and with whom you want to do it.
Wonderful. I love that. Thank you for that. I'll take that on board.
Cool.
Yes.
John, why does some people become much more successful? If we look at, let's say, Richard Branson of the world, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, why are there people becoming so successful and other people's don't? What is the difference?
I think my perspective is that those people that you mentioned and many other people that are successful have discovered who they are. And Mark Twain says it best. He says the two most important days of your life are when you're born and when you find out why. And if you find out why, and then the deal you have is to share that why, is how do you get the world to share your gift? How do you share your gift with the world? And then when you start sharing your gift with the world, I think success becomes yours. I think a lot of the times what we do is we mistake accomplishment for purpose. You see, it doesn't matter how well accomplished you are. It doesn't mean you found your purpose. Just because you're a partner at Deloitte's or maybe is a CA with kids in private schools, well done. I don't want to take anything away from that. And I think that's an excellent accomplishment, but it's not your purpose. And what you want to do is you want to go towards this idea of finding your purpose before actually trying to mistake it with accomplishment. So the people you mentioned, I feel they have found their purpose and now they're sharing it. And my success only really started when I discovered why I'm here on earth. And because I've now been able to share that, it seems like this magical carpet ride where people are so enthused by the success. And a lot of people ask me the question. I'm like, well, all I started doing was making decisions from my heart and not from my head. And that's the difference between accomplishment and purpose.
John, are there way people set goals today for themselves and for their business? Is it still the same today than it was, let's say, yesterday, a decade ago? Or has that changed as well?
I think it depends where you set your goal from again. Is it a mental construct or is it a heartfelt construct? And for me, the difference is quite apparent. The goals that are set from the mental construct are driven by a drive to absolutely have to make it. There's a constant chase towards it. It's energized most probably by anxiousness. When you start making decisions with your heart, there's a level of comfort, ease, patience, and a motivating factor of excitement, not anxiousness. So I have a 4-step process that I set my goals with. And this is what I always advise people to do is set goals only based on these 4 things. 1, what shines brightest for you? When you go to the bookstore, when you on YouTube, when you're reading a magazine, when you're speaking to your friends, what is the subject that always excites you? Is it gardening? Is it psychology? Is it swimming? Is it cooking? What is it? What shines brightest leads you to curiosity. Become curious about that topic. Now you start becoming curious and you can't stop feeding yourself the information about what makes you most curious. This leads you to excitement and expert level, because when I start getting to really good at something, I become excited about wanting to share it, and in turn I become an expert at that subject. And when I reach that, I reach a space of endless energy, endless creativity, endless innovation, because that energy source, that excitement that's driving it, now sets up my why I'm here on earth. Now set goals. If you're trying to set goals based on mental constructs and of there's a gap in the market or there's ways to make money that I need to find there, those goals are mental constructs. I don't think they're energetically fueled by excitement. And I think that's the real magic that's changed my life.
Yeah, you speak the truth there. And I think when you do it with mentality and you don't reach that goal, or you just maybe get 80% of it, then you get deterred. But if it's from the heart, nothing can stop you in reaching it.
Yeah, and remember, your energy source is endless when you're excited, because excited is not a mental construct, it's a body emotion.
Yeah.
And when you're excited, people are like, geez, where do you get all your energy from? I'm like, I don't know, I'm always energized because I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do what I love, I'd be upset, angry, I'd drink a lot, I'd be addicted to things, I would be eating far too much, I'd be always waiting for the weekend, I'd be dreading Mondays. There's a great saying that says, Mondays don't suck, your life does. Yeah. And when you find yourself dreading Mondays, you've made decisions with the wrong part of your body.
That's true. That's true. John, if you had to start over today, what's the 3 things that you will do from the onset? First 3 things that you do if you have to start over today.
I mean, I don't want to keep repeating it, but I would only make decisions based on my heart. Mm-hmm. I would then go ahead and share the vision as largely as possible, get the right people behind me, and start the crusade to bring about whatever my excitement wants to bring about. So excitement, people, and action. Those are always the 3 things that I always look at and go, well, how do you get the right people around you that are enthused with your vision, that share your excitement, and how do you all bring about this new creation of sorts?
Yeah, great 3 things to do. John, who are your coaches, your idols, your heroes that you look up to?
They change a lot. I have 4 coaches. I have a high performance coach, a money coach, a psychologist, and a tantra coach. And I believe that we need a lot of coaches in order to become the best versions of ourselves. I have recently been reading a lot of Jordan Peterson, who's a psychologist, professor from Canada. And I also look at my peers around me and my friends in my group of circle and understand what they can teach me. I have a very good friend, Sean, who teaches me about how to always give people the benefit of the doubt. I have another friend, Mark, who always teaches me courage and bravery. I have another friend that teaches me about forgiveness. And so I watch my friends circle, I hire coaches around me, and I read on people that I think are bringing fresh thinking to the world, like a Jordan Peterson. And so there's layering of who I look up to and who I get my sort of energy and perspective from.
Cool. John, what's your next moonshot?
I'm moving to New York.
Okay.
And I want to be on stage with Simon Sinek and Gary Vaynerchuk and all the speakers out there in that world. I know I need to do two things. One, I need to get a lot better at what I do, and I need to be in the proximity of these people. I need to be having coffee where they're having coffee. I need to be at the same conferences they are. And to base myself in New York, I give myself the best opportunity to become the best version of myself in doing what I'm doing. So my moonshot is about taking me to New York, the city of expectations.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Looking forward to following you there. I know that you're very active on social media. I love following on Facebook, on Instagram. Everyone, please go and follow John. Amazing content that he shares. John, quick 5 questions. What's the scariest thing that you've done in your life so far?
Got divorced.
Okay. What's on your next bucket list item?
Japan. We're going on a 9-day hike in a bamboo forest called Kumido-Kudo. I think it's Kumido-Kudo, something like that. And so I want to be spending 9 days in a bamboo forest visiting Zen and Buddhist temples.
Cool. You can't work without?
My MacBook.
That's true. That's true. What do you prefer, running or cycling? Or neither?
Running on the mountain. Yeah, I want to say both, but I suppose running in the mountain would be my favorite thing.
That's cool. And then what's your favorite quote?
By Rumi, the Persian poet. And he has a quote that says, "Live life as if everything is rigged in your favor."
That's an amazing quote to live by. John, thank you very much. Thanks for coming on to The Exceptional. I truly appreciate your time. It was an honor and a privilege talking to you, getting to know you a bit better. Looking forward to Magnetiize coming out. Everyone, go get yourself a copy of What's Your Moonshot. Final question, what's a message that you want to leave our listeners and our viewers with to take them from ordinary to extraordinary to exceptional?
I think today in the world that we live in, we need to become aware that we are able to do in our individual capacity what organizations and governments were able to do in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. With the advent of ubiquitous internet, we have the ability to reach millions of people, which was only the space of organizations and governments before. We're able to crowdfund money, which was only available to those organizations and governments. And we're able to bring minds that share our vision from around the world into something I call the vibrational village, which means that anywhere in the world, you can pick up people that can come and help you. If we don't understand the power we have, we can never reach exceptional. And if we don't understand the power we have, we can never get to the point of becoming optimists about the future rather than pessimists. And so really the choice, and I call it the incredible privilege of choice, is are you an architect of the future or a victim of it? And if you choose to be a victim, good luck. If you choose to be an architect, you've taken on responsibility for your life and you've taken on the most important choice, the incredible privilege of choice of seeing yourself as somebody that's exceptional.
John, thank you very much. Thanks for those wise words that you've shared with us. Everyone, that's John Sanei. Go and get your copy of his book. If you want him to book him for his talks, go onto his website, johnsanei.com. Connect with him, incredible human being. Thanks for joining us today, and take care.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.